One of Turkey's most prominent opposition leaders has gone on trial in a case that could drag on for years. Ekrem Imamoglu, the jailed mayor of Istanbul, and more than 400 others are accused of corruption and organized crime. Critics say the trial is aimed at silencing President Erdogan's main rival.
These people are protesting for the release of Ekrem Imamoglu, Istanbul's ousted mayor and one of Turkey's most popular opposition politicians. They've gathered outside the prison complex where Imamoglu has been held for nearly a year. It's here where he's now standing trial on corruption charges.
I believe this case is a charade. I don't think Ekrem Imamoglu has done anything wrong. And I believe his friends are innocent too. To me, this is clearly a political case.
Ekrem Imamoglu is our future presidential candidate, and that's why he's being held in jail.
I'm here for the freedom of Ekrem Imamoglu and all the other imprisoned opposition mayors. I'm here for my own future and for democracy.
Ekrem Imamoglu shot to national prominence in 2019 when he was first elected mayor of Istanbul, defeating President Erdogan's ruling party in Turkey's largest city. He quickly became a key opposition figure and was poised to run against Erdogan in the next presidential elections. But in March 2025, Imamoglu was suddenly arrested over corruption allegations. In a final message recorded from his home, he said,
"There are hundreds of police officers outside. We're facing great injustice. But I want you to know this, I will not give up. I love you all very much. I entrust myself to my nation. I will stand tall."
His arrest sparked the biggest opposition protests in Turkey in over a decade, with police cracking down on crowds and detaining hundreds. Imamoglu's party, the opposition CHP, has been holding weekly rallies ever since, calling his jailing politically motivated.
I tell you, people of Istanbul, straight to your faces, Mayor Ekrem is innocent. Our friends are innocent. The false accusations will be proven false. The people will see the truth.
But prosecutors are now seeking a combined sentence of more than 2,000 years for Imamoglu over charges including bribery, money laundering and running a criminal network. All allegations he denies. It's a mass trial with more than 400 defendants linked to the Istanbul municipality.
This is set to become one of the biggest trials in Turkish political history. 3 judges have been assigned by the judiciary to oversee the case. And a special courtroom is even being built right next to the prison, just for this trial.
Hussein Ersoz works as a defense lawyer on the case. He says Imamoglu will likely not be able to run in the next presidential elections, which must take place before mid-2028.
This is not the only case against him. Ekrem Imamoglu is currently on trial in several separate proceedings. Even a single conviction, once upheld on appeal, could bar him from holding political office.
Lawyers have also raised serious concerns over whether Imamoglu will receive a fair trial, and rights groups and foreign observers have condemned his imprisonment as part of a sweeping legal crackdown on Turkey's opposition ahead of future elections. Eirik Lae Solberg is part of a delegation of European mayors who recently traveled to Istanbul in a show of solidarity with Imamoglu.
He's clearly jailed because the government in Turkey sees him as a dangerous challenger. He had a very good chance of winning the election, and therefore they imprisoned him. And therefore he was also not allowed to carry out the job that the citizens of Istanbul had elected him to do. And that is appalling.
President Erdogan, however, insists Turkey's judiciary is independent. He has framed the investigation as routine anti-corruption work.
The investigation in Istanbul concerns a criminal organization unprecedented in the history of the Republic. Its actions threaten national security by revealing organized corruption and extortion.
Among Erdogan's core supporters, such messages appear to resonate.
They should never be released. There are loads of people like that, with a corrupt mentality. They haven't done a single thing for the country.
Some say he's guilty, others say he's innocent. The judiciary will make that decision, and I trust them.
Imamoglu's supporters disagree. They fear the trial will drag on for years and sideline the opposition. For them, it's more than about a mayor and his freedom. It's a test for the future of democracy in Turkey.
Let's get some insights here from Berk Esen. He's Associate Professor of Political Science at Sabanci University in Istanbul, Turkey. Thanks for being with us. First of all, why is Ekrem Imamoglu on trial? What exactly is he accused of?
Well, Imamoglu is accused of leading a criminal organization for profit and personal gain. That involves tender rigging and bribery and other sort of actions. And looking at the indictment, the prosecutor's argument seems to be that Imamoglu, as the mayor of Istanbul, received a portion of all major tenders conducted by the municipality in order to finance his own political operation. So the argument is that Imamoglu financed his rise within the main opposition party and by extension his re-election campaign and his ability to become the presidential candidate for the main opposition party through such criminal activity. That's why it's not just him, but hundreds of other defenders who are accused of being a member of a criminal organization rather than a political organization. And those accusations are only related to the trial that started today. He is also facing other charges, including espionage, insulting public officials, even falsifying his university application, and that became the basis for revoking Ekrem Imamoglu's university diploma, so that he could become ineligible to run for presidential office, because to become a president in Turkey, you need a university diploma.
Well, that's quite a rap sheet he's facing there. In our report, we heard allegations that the charges against Imamoglu are politically motivated. Is there a case to be made there?
There is certainly a case to be made there, because Imamoglu was arrested last year just after announcing that he planned to run for the presidency. One day before he was arrested on March 19, 2025, his university diploma was revoked so that he would be ineligible to run for office. While defending himself during this period, his lawyer was arrested. So it's difficult to really see that these charges are not politically motivated. And as if this case was enough, as I already pointed out, he's facing, I think, 11 or 12 other charges. So that I think the goal here is to strangle him with a series of legal challenges so that he will either at some point throw in the towel and take himself out of the political arena. And if he refuses to do so, his time would be completely allocated to defending himself in court, as opposed to campaigning and conducting politics or running the city of Istanbul.
Given what you know about the justice system in Turkey, do you believe that Imamoglu is likely to be given a fair trial?
Well, let me just point out that the prosecutor for this case, just a few weeks ago, was appointed as the Ministry of Justice in Turkey. So I think our reviewers can decide on this question themselves. Now, looking at the judiciary in the Turkish context, I think it has become quite clear that many of the courts have been captured politically, and the judicial process has been used by the regime against opposition figures, not only Ekrem Imamoglu, but many other mayors from the main opposition party, as well as many Kurdish politicians. So this is really an attempt to weaponize the judicial process in order to deal with political opponents who can defeat the government at the polls.
Just briefly, what does this trial mean for opposition parties in Turkey? Is there anyone of Imamoglu's stature who still might be able to challenge Erdogan?
Well, Imamoglu is certainly the strongest contender. So if he is ruled out as a presidential candidate, it's going to be an uphill battle for the opposition. But there are other possible options. Another option would be the Ankara mayor Mansur Yavaş, who has nationalist credentials. So he may have less appeal among Kurdish voters, but certainly can get some support from conservative nationalist voters of the government. Another option would be the main opposition party leader Özgür Özel, who's fairly young and who has increased his profile during the weekly rallies that the main opposition party started to organize after Ekrem İmamoğlu's arrest.
Berk, Esen, professor of political science in Istanbul, thank you very much for your insights.
Thanks for having me.